Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm here with my good buddy Alex.
Hey, Mike, how's it going? How's life? How's the family?
Family's great. I just ate a huge pot of gumbo. Not by myself. The whole family ate the gumbo.
Yeah, we talked about this before, and I was upset you didn't invite me to eat gumbo. I like gumbo.
We have a huge family, and I don't even know if there was enough room at the kitchen table for you.
You can get rid of one of your sisters or brother-in-laws.
Yeah, I would like to.
I think if you easily just put like glasses on me, I don't think your family would notice the difference.
There's so much commotion going on that they probably wouldn't even notice you're at the table, to be perfectly honest. My dog and my sister's dog were fighting not fighting, but like wrestling under the kitchen table while we're eating.
Did Hunter get him?
Yeah, Hunter got her really good.
Good.
She was like howling, and Hunter smacked her right in the face.
Yeah, it's like my house now.
Exactly. Well, it's a neutral place, so the dogs don't know, who's the boss at this house.
No, Hunter, wherever he goes somewhere new, he always carries those small flags with him, and he plants his flag that this is property of Hunter's now. It's like some dogs pee on stuff to make their mark. I know Hunter just carries around flags with him.
Yeah, I don't know where he bought them at. But yeah.
I got him for Christmas one year because I know he doesn't like peeing in public,
okay.
But he wants his territory.
So you got that for my dog. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know how he plants them into the hard earth of a house, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a strong dog.
He's a very strong dog.
What you said? You said he's what, like roughly the same size as Clifford, the big red dog?
Roughly.
Okay.
Also, this week, it's been nuts with tech, like, failures. I mean, I'm not talking about our general dumb tech of the week. I'm just talking about general tech failures. Like, Facebook went down for, like, almost a whole day.
Yeah, it was 6 hours. Was down. I didn't know until I came home and my wife said, like, oh, you notice Facebook is down. Because I only check Facebook really in the morning and at night, maybe. Mostly at night. So I didn't notice during the day that it was down.
What's funny is I didn't notice either, because if you use the app, it still shows stuff. It just has a timestamp of, like, yesterday. So I was scrolling through it. I'm like, this looks like I've seen this before.
Well, and then you wake up like, oh my God, it's Groundhog's Day again?
Yeah, I kind of had like one of those things. No, somebody actually submitted a ticket at work and said, like, Facebook's not working. And I had to look into it, and I'm like, oh, that's how I found out. I'm like, okay, Facebook's not working.
This isn't my job. I deal with the computers.
I said, why don't you Google that real quick? The top result is Facebook's been down all day. Stocks on the decline. And then on top of that, Twitch, I think they're owned by Amazon, right?
I believe so,
yeah,
yes.
Twitch got hacked, and, like, all this data got out there. So, like, I guess how much certain streamers get paid and that sort of thing. So it's just been nuts all over the board.
So, like, the only things that was really released on the Twitch end was, like, stuff about the company. No, like, personal data or anything like that. But they said they have a lot more information. I don't know what the end game really is.
Well, I guess you'd have to know who actually did it to know their, like, motivations and such. But
who's Twitch's biggest competition?
That's the thing is they have YouTube. Games.
I'm sure there's probably some smaller places that do it.
I think Facebook has their own game thing. Microsoft had, I don't even remember the name of it now, but they went under, like, real fast.
Oh, what was the name of that? Because that, like, just came and gone like a flash.
Yeah, they paid, like, millions of dollars to Ninja, and then literally 2 or 3 months later, they folded. So,
yeah, Twitch is just, like, the big thing right now until, like, it's going to, like, something has to come along, like, organically and get, like, new people on there to get them over to watch. But Twitch is where the money is, so people are still going to use it.
Yeah, a lot of those services end up being kind of organic. So it's based off of what creators go to it, and then the fans that follow them. So, yeah, I don't think you could just make a service and just make it popular overnight. It's not possible, I don't think.
No, and and like those big tech companies are just riddled with those ideas, like Google or the Google Plus and Microsoft streaming and Stadia. And it's like so many projects that they have so much money that they can throw out there, and they can bomb. And like, okay, well, let's move on.
So
I thought when you said you want to talk about Facebook, I thought you were talking about like the whistleblowing on Facebook that happened this week. I don't know if you saw or read anything about that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really get too much into it. Is this more about Facebook releasing data about how it hurts teenagers, like mental health and all that sort of thing?
It's not about Facebook releasing that data. It's more Facebook has this data and knowingly hurting it's hurting teens' mental health. Instead of doing like the right thing to help and like try to curtail that, going the opposite because more people are going to view the page and go on Instagram. That's mostly what that one was about, is like Instagram because it's better for their profits. So instead of like doing the right thing and trying to make Instagram better for people and young teens, it's doing the opposite because more revenue. And there was a lot of that with like the false information on Facebook and things like that, that Facebook is willing to have wrong information put out there because it keeps people on Facebook longer than if they would have put this normal information, like somebody just like, I had a good day today or something like that.
Yeah, it's all business, and they were making an Instagram for kids, and I think they put that on the back burner because of all this.
Yeah, the Instagram thing, well, baffles me. I'm not an Instagram fan. I don't like looking at people's pictures.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but the issue is like you have all these influencers that get paid a ton of money from companies, so they're always taking like these perfect pictures, getting dolled up for these pictures that make it just seem like, oh, that's a normal day for me, but like it's a perfectly looking picture of the person. So people like, especially at that age, you're constantly judging yourself against other people, and if you see these beautiful people doing these amazing things, you're gonna feel crappier about your life. But the issue is like a lot of these influencers get a ton of money from advertisers that be photographed in their product, and on Facebook's getting a cut of that. So what do you do? Let's not follow beautiful people on Instagram, I guess.
And I guess you don't want your kids following beautiful people on Instagram.
No.
I don't know what an Instagram Kids app would even be, though. Like, are they taking pictures of their Legos and put it up there? Like, what on earth would you gain from having an Instagram Kids app? It's like trying to funnel kids in there early to get them addicted to social media. And then when they get to of age, they can upgrade their account to like a adult Instagram account.
Yeah, because kids are on YouTube all the time now because there's so much kids content on YouTube. I think they see that market and they want that market. But what do you do?
It makes sense, though, for YouTube because that's like content kids would get into. But Instagram, it's pictures and maybe some quick videos. I guess maybe they want... I'm more thinking maybe it's more going to be like the Reels aspect where it's like quick 30 to 60-second videos.
Yeah.
But who's making this content for kids? Is it just going to be some weird adults out there somewhere? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Probably.
Yeah.
You watch a lot of those like kids videos and like these parents like pushing their kids to do these videos, and the kids don't know better, but they're like, oh, we're doing this video now, and I guess it's like so odd. My son likes watching them. I can't stand them.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for those kids that are stuck doing videos. When they get older, do you think they're going to be somewhat damaged? Like, well, I was a YouTube star when I was a kid and had no control over that.
Because, like, the other thing, like, on Twitter, like, all, like, the children's programming, like, all have, like, Twitter accounts. Like, I follow Cookie Monster and Big Bird and The Count. The Count's a good Twitter follow. Because all he does is count the days. So it's just this number of days he's been on Twitter.
These can't be, like, real. Like, it has to be, like, joke accounts, right?
No, it's, like, official, like, Cookie Monster and Big Bird accounts.
Yeah.
And they don't tweet often. And a lot of times it's just, like, jokes. But, like, who's that for? Like, it's for, like, the adult.
Yeah, grown-up
on
kids.
Twitter. Yeah.
So.
But it's odd, like, that they're on there and that they want to be on there.
Ready to jump into the dumb tech of the week, Alex? Get this party started.
Not?
First one up is I kind of thought Netflix would kind of learn their lesson a little bit beforehand with this Seinfeld release. How Disney Plus released The Simpsons in widescreen format and cut off the tops and bottoms of the show and hid jokes. So like a lot of jokes were cut off, and a lot of people complained. And Disney Plus had to go back and re-release the original. Was it 4x3?
Yes.
So yeah. Netflix did the same thing. A bunch of jokes are cut off because Seinfeld's in widescreen now, and it was originally made for 4x3. So I don't know why these companies can't figure this out before they release something.
Well, I think it's just because modern TVs are now widescreen more than tubes. And their thinking is, well, people want their TVs to be filled, I'm guessing, more than cut off. You know, because the sides would be cut off if you're doing 4:3 on most of the flat screen TV now.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. Like, I'm fine with The Simpsons and Seinfeld being in 4:3. Like, I think these companies, like, oh, everything wants to be in, like, HD and all. But if I'm watching, like, these old sitcoms, I don't need them in HD. I'm not watching them for the quality. You know, I'm watching them for the jokes and stuff like that. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they did a restoration of the visuals, but we don't need it in widescreen, especially if it cuts out parts of the show. That's just dumb. So I just don't understand why Netflix didn't figure that out.
I'm guessing they've done it for like all their old shows. So I wonder if like Friends is probably the same way, but you're not missing some visual gags. The thing with The Simpsons, why it was such a big deal, especially early Simpsons, has so many visual gags.
Yeah, I'd say this. Yeah, The Simpsons is the most important show not to cut it into widescreen. I'm sure Seinfeld, you're not going to be missing a whole ton. Same with Friends.
Yeah, but like that's like it takes a show like these two that the fans are so dedicated. Like, especially like the first like 12 seasons of The Simpsons, like fans can tell you every episode and every scene. So if something's missing, they're going to complain. And it takes something like that where you have such a large fan base that can pick out like the details and like, hey, just give us what we want. We don't care about the pictures. Just give us the full screen.
So yeah, I agree. I think full screen or die, or at least give people the option to choose between original or widescreen. Why not just give people the option?
You know how like Netflix, you can pay for like a better tier to get like 4K picture or some crap like that.
Yeah.
And like when you set up, like I set up my new TV and I signed a Netflix. It's like, oh, do you want the 4K? And it was like this perfect picture, or do you want the regular version? It was like the blurriest picture. I was like, no way it looks like that. Like, it's so bad, like how bad of a picture they put up there. That's like, oh, you want to upgrade to the 4K
Oh, like
version.
they give you like I've never gone through that, so they give you like a representation of what it would look like.
Yeah, and it's the one that like the cheaper one looks so bad. Like, I'm not paying for your 4K version of.
So yeah, I mean, being a visual person like that, I would probably spring for the 4K just because I'm an idiot. But let's jump on to the next one. You added this dumb tech, and explain yourself. Lime fights back against QR code snatchers.
Yeah, I guess in London and New York, for those Lime scooters, that people are like, they have like the little QR code that you're supposed to scan that lets you use the scooter. So people who don't like them are scraping off the sticker and leaving the scooters useless. And now Lime is putting a plastic cover over the sticker. That's it. It's just dumb. People are being dumb. Like, what are you doing?
Wait, so
I don't
this
like
isn't
this scooter.
dumb tech. This is people are dumb.
Yeah, dumb people.
Okay. Now, I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, I don't know how Lime's being dumb with this. It's actually a smart idea to do that. Now they need to make the scooters float because people in Cincinnati have been tossing them off the bridge into the river. So
that's what I guess was happening in Manchester, and then people like they just in Manchester is like it was the bikes, and people kept throwing them in the river, and so they just took them all out of like the city or reduced them a ton. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just I don't like the scooters as much as the next person. I think they're stupid, and I've never used one.
They're awesome,
but like, what are you doing? Just leave them alone if you don't like them.
my biggest complaint with the scooters or the bikes are the people who ride them and just leave them in the worst possible places. Like they just leave them on the ground or, just in the way. Like people just don't know where to put them. Like I was in my parking garage the other day on the first floor, which is underground, and somebody left scooters down there. I'm like, no way somebody's going to be able to find these scooters in the basement of a parking garage.
Yeah, but that's what they said you can use them for. That's what the whole thing was. Like, oh, you can just pick them up and leave them wherever.
Yeah, they tried to like fight that a little bit by like making you take a picture of it and like giving you some sense of responsibility. Like, hey, you have to be off the curb or, somewhere safe. And so taking a picture of it, it's supposed to give you some sense of responsibility. But I don't know if there's ever been a case where they go after the person for just leaving it somewhere.
I imagine they would if they got in trouble for something.
So you think that if somebody got injured by falling over it, they'd look at who rode it last and maybe hold you liable or something like that?
Or if it was like left in the street or something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, that would be pretty ridiculous if somebody left a Lime scooter in the middle of the street. So
I don't put it past people.
All right, so next one up in Dumb Tech is that bear fat or just chonky? Lasers may help scientists find out. And you added this to the doc, and then you decided against it, and then I'm like, well, I kind of like it, but I forgot to take notes on it.
Yeah, all it is up in like the national park in Alaska. They figured out that they can use lasers to weigh how much these bears weigh. Or weigh bears. Because right now the process is terrible because they can't really weigh them in the fall and winter because they're like getting ready to hibernate. And like if they wanted to use a scale, bears would just like gnaw on it and then they would have to stay on it for 11 seconds and bears just keep moving. And in the springtime, they have to tranquilize the bears and then weigh them. So like this is just a giant laser they already had to survey terrain. They figured out that they can put in that bears and figure out how much they weigh.
So wait, how's this Dumb Tech of the Week, Alex? It seems like very intelligent and useful tech.
Leave the bears alone. No one wants to know how, like other people to know how much they weigh.
So you're thinking that they're fat shaming these bears? I don't think that's the case. I think that's just a normal process of like knowing like how healthy the group of bears are in their park.
I just thought it was a silly article, and I didn't know where else to put it, and I could have put some Tech Bytes, but
I don't know. I mean, it's silly the way it's written. I'll give you that. So
yeah.
Whoever wrote that story just thought it was a hoot. They were just having so much fun interviewing this guy. The guy who invented this was having so much fun talking about how he scanned the butt of the bear, and he's like, ooh.
Yeah, but they have like a fat bear contest each year when they weigh all these bears to see which one's the biggest.
Yeah, because they eat a lot before they hibernate.
Yeah, so they want to see like how much they eat and compare it to like what they eat in the spring. Get like a better understanding of bear culture, I guess.
Yeah, I gotta know about those bears. Make sure they're healthy. Now, I think it's just interesting way to, stay away from the bears out of their habitat a little bit. Scan them from afar. Don't tranquilize them. And, I think it's cool. Ready to jump into the Tech News Bytes?
You betcha.
Tech News Bytes.
All right, the first story up is how and when to upgrade Windows 11. This is actually Windows 11 week. If you're listening to this now, Windows 11 is out, and it's available to a select few PCs out there.
It's just flaunting itself everywhere. It's out and about.
It's out and about. If you buy a new computer, like a new Windows 10 laptop, you should be getting the update over just Windows updates. So you should be getting a notification eventually, and it'll just come to your laptop for free. Knocking on the door. It's going to be on there. It's going to be awesome.
You can get the updates. They don't recommend it for older computers. They said mostly they're all computers by 2022.
That's the part I kind of highlighted, is because I thought that was kind of a long roadmap. They said that Windows 11 would be coming to all eligible computers by mid 2022. That's 8 or 9 months from now.
I'm not surprised. I mean, this stuff always rolls out slow.
Well,
you know.
Well, let me tell you this, Alex. Guess what I did today?
You updated Windows 10, 11?
Yes, I upgraded my laptop to Windows 11. It wasn't like I didn't get an update from Microsoft. I didn't get asked to do it. But they have an upgrade tool. If you just Google Windows 11 upgrade tool, if you have a compatible laptop, you can just upgrade right away. They don't recommend it, but I did it anyways. And it's not bad.
He's a rebel without a cause. He does what he wants.
Not bad at all. I didn't want to be not having Windows 11 and then one of my users gets Windows 11 and has no clue what's going on. So that's why I did it. I want to be the guinea pig.
It makes sense. You want to mess around with it. But I think that mid-22, like, we're kind of going to push it out to everybody because technically you can get it now like you did. So
yeah, they're not going to stop you. So, and it's not a huge change, honestly. So next one up is Tesla is building Model Y bodies with single front and rear castings, a manufacturing first. So this is a pretty big deal. They started this with the front of the Tesla Model Y, like I think last year. And basically it's just a gigantic metal casting mechanism, machine, or whatever you want to call it. And it makes a giant piece for the front of the car where before they had this piece, it would be 70 parts to put together to make this piece. So now it's just one piece replacing 70 parts.
Yeah, now they have the back part. They did the real body, and they can kind of just connect them.
Yeah, so now they have the front and the rear. So it's a pretty exceptional, I think, improvement to the normal process.
Well, it's going to save Tesla time, space, money overall, because they're going to can cut down on welding, cut down on different machines that they would need. My only issue is, as a consumer, what happens like if you get hit and like there's a crack in that wheel area? Like, oh, you're gonna have to replace the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking as well. Is sure, it might be cheaper to manufacture it and easier. And why hasn't other manufacturers? Why haven't they done this? Well, one of the reasons is Tesla has their own proprietary like alloy, which works really well for these molds. And I think it's really hard to build a big cast anyways. But the other thing, like what you're saying, is it makes it more expensive, I think, on the repair end. So if you get in a fender bender or something like that, it might be way more costly.
You've been in accidents where like you got hit and it doesn't look that bad, but like, oh, your bumper's cracked, we have to replace it, and it's like $1,000. Like if you're having to replace that whole piece, I can see that being like half what you originally paid for the car. So like it sounds good in theory, but what's going to happen if you just get rear-ended and you have to get that fixed?
Yeah, I think time will tell on that one, and hopefully there's like a happy medium somewhere there where it brings the cost down of the car so that doesn't, really matter too much. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on, but it's going to make things faster to build and cheaper, I think. So next one up is another car story, and this one is about General Motors. They just unveiled a hands-free driving system that works in nearly all of U.S. and Canada.
Ultra Cruise.
Oh man, you spoiled it. So they already have Super Cruise, and Super Cruise mainly just works on the highway, right?
Yeah.
And it uses I think it uses cameras and that sort of thing. But what I was going to say is, why don't they name this new product Superior Cruise?
I would have went with Super Duper Cruise, but I imagine like they're sitting there like, there's like a boardroom of people like, oh, what should we call this? So it's the first time they're like, this is like cruise control, but it's better. We can call it Super Cruise.
They're like, wait, we already have that.
And then they're like, well, this is the better version of that. What's better than Super? So I like to think they had like a whole list of words that were better than Super, and they tried it on Ultra Cruise.
It's better than the Ford version called Blue Cruise.
Yeah, that's stupid. But do you think if they make a better version of that, do they call it Mega Ultra Cruise?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there won't be a better one. It's kind of cool. I think what they did was they just took a lot of like the mapping from Super Cruise, because they have a lot of cars on the road already that are basically driving around. And so they can take all that data, and they built like a pretty good subset. And they said it's going to be 2 million miles of North American roads, which is quite a big deal. And it's using like optical cameras, radar, and LiDAR sensors, which is their lasers, to kind of detect the road. And, basically it drives itself.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'd never heard of Super Cruise. I feel like GM, like, kind of low-key put this in cars, and people have been using it, but have not been making like a big deal out of it, like kind of like Tesla has with their self-driving cars. And like just letting like kind of working out the kinks and all until they get like the final product of like this Ultra Cruise.
So what's funny is we've been saying it's going to take forever to do self-driving tech and all this. It's slowly coming. I think all these companies are just slowly getting there under the radar, and 10 years from now, it's just going to be like, hey, you can just close your eyes and take a nap and you'll get there just fine. I think it's going to be coming faster than we think, but it's just a slow incremental thing. And each year it gets better and better and better.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Next one up is Google turns its AI on traffic lights to reduce pollution. So this is a new project from Google, and they are working, I think, in Israel with they've done 4 different highways and roads to test this out on. But basically they're using software to analyze traffic lights to see like how to best time them so people aren't sitting in traffic and wasting time and polluting more.
I feel like cities already do this. I don't think they do a good job of it, but I think they already do it. Because like a lot of times, like if you're driving around late at night or early in the morning, like on my way to work, like all the lights are flashing yellows, so you don't have to stop really until they hit like a certain time when traffic picks up. So I feel like cities are already doing this.
Yeah, every so often they do traffic studies, and they have like sensors at like intersections. I think a lot of intersections, like when they're really busy, will have like a police officer stand there and change the lights. I've seen that a couple places. But I think anytime you can analyze things and make them smoother and more efficient, that's a good thing. And a lot of times it takes lots and lots of like AI just to like view lots and lots of cycles of something to see like, okay, this is when things slow down, this is when things pick up, just to see like trends. And once they compile all these trends together, they can smartly adjust lights to make everything run smoother, I think.
I think my biggest complaint in life is when lights aren't synced up. Like, well, you get the green light and then you go forward, it should be another green light.
Yeah.
And then you're just stuck at like a stoplight.
I agree with that, but I almost think they do that on purpose to slow traffic down. So they don't want people just flying through a bunch of lights, so they artificially slow people down.
Yeah, but then you make people fly through lights because they know if they get stuck at this light, they're going to be there forever, so then they speed up.
Also, I've noticed if you do exactly the speed limit, you will hit, if you start at green, you will hit a lot of greens in a row. But if you are speeding, then you'll constantly be hitting reds, and then by the time the cars catch up to you, it'll be green again. So that's why they've done studies about this. Speeding doesn't work because the lights are designed for people driving the speed limit. So even if you speed, you're in cities and stuff, you're not getting anywhere faster. It's just you're just stopping more.
Yeah, this was wild to me. You know Monmouth Street in Newport, like going to the levee. There's only one way.
Yes.
Going to the levee in Newport. It was like I was driving to work. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and it's a red light. And the car next to me is 2 lanes. The car next to me, we both would stop at the red light, and he would look around and then go through the red light, and I would just go when it's green. And he did it for all like 6 lights down Monmouth.
Like he ran the red lights?
Yeah, he would stop and then look and then go through. And like we both got to the end of the street where it dead ends at the same time. It's like, what are you doing? Just wait till the green lights come.
Or was he just timing them before they were turning?
No,
green?
he was clearly like he was through the intersection while it was still
So
red.
have you ever
But, like,
been at a light that just would never change green? Like for some reason the sensors broke or the timers broke or something. Like I was at a light for maybe 5 minutes. I just looked both ways and went. Like I just got tired of waiting.
I've never done that.
So yeah, it sucks. But yeah, these lights aren't always smart, I don't think. So next one up is this is something you added. It's the European Parliament backs a ban on remote biometric surveillance.
Yeah, about time. So biometric surveillance is like all those you see it on all the cop shows, like those cameras you can recognize people's faces in public places and all. So pretty much saying you can't do that to normal people unless they have like a warrant out for them. You know, unless you're searching for like a criminal, you can't do this.
That makes sense. I think a lot of places will have like a facial scanning cameras, but they won't like actually be recognizing each person that comes in. It's just scanning for a wanted criminal. So I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Like for instance, my buddy who works at the Creation Museum down the road. We live in that part of the country. He said they have high-tech equipment that basically, because they're worried about terrorism and that sort of thing, basically they have a big file of people who would possibly be a terrorist against them, and their facial software is like top of the line.
Well, they're building a replica of the Tower of Babel there, and that like the next product?
Yeah.
Aren't they worried about God?
Yes, I don't know if they're worried about that or not.
Well, this is not a religion, but they also are stopping predictive policies based on behavioral data. They don't there's like a bunch of AIs now that are trying to predict crimes, and they ban those, at least limit them, which also kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so there's been like a controversial AI, like a startup called, I think it's called Clearview, and they were kind of selling their software to different like organizations, like police departments and such, and basically they're trying to stop this. And also, I know this is done in China a lot, but they're trying to stop social ratings, kind of like people have like some sort of rating based on like how they act or perform in society, and I think that's kind of a good thing to stop.
They don't want people to be judged before like anything like happens. If you're already judging people based off what you think they're gonna do, like what kind of society is that, Mike?
I don't know, but we do have a credit rating system, so you can't get a house or a car or anything if you have bad credit. So isn't that kind of like the same thing in a way?
Yeah, credit rating system's stupid too.
Yeah. I think it can be adjusted a little bit, and people take advantage of it, and that's probably why it is the way it is. But all right, next one up. This is the final Tech News Bite of the day. Uber can now track your flight, so a ride home is ready when you land.
Yeah, I think this is a scam. You know how you can reserve an Uber for like the next morning and all?
Yes.
Like all it is just like they have it set up that they'll just send out like an alert at that time for any cars in like the area at that time, and they can come pick you up. If they don't have any cars, they won't pick you up. I assume it's like the exact same thing as this. Like you can reserve a car at that time, but it just depends on if there's actually be somebody there to pick you up.
Well, yeah, basically what they're saying is that you put your flight information into the app. It knows when the flight's going to land. It reserves a spot for you. And the Uber driver will wait up to an hour for you if your flight's running late or something like that. Which I think that's like kind of... I don't think Uber's really paying these drivers enough anyway. So who's going to sit around for a whole hour at the airport getting paid what Uber pays?
Well, that's just for like the Uber Black and Uber Black SUV, I think.
Yeah, but it's for those. But I think that's the only way you can get is Uber X and Uber Black and all that stuff. So
no, I thought there's like regular Uber. Regular Uber won't track your flight. Like the other ones will, like the Uber Black.
Yeah, so that's what this is about. But usually when you go to the airport, only Uber Black and Uber X and all that stuff will even pick you up at the airport at all. Usually regular Uber can't pick you up at the airport.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you go to the airport, you have to opt for the more expensive one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's stupid because Uber doesn't pay their drivers enough, and who's going to want to wait around 60 minutes for that? And are you getting charged that? It just doesn't make sense. It's convenient, but at this point, why not just use a regular taxi cab company?
Yeah, that's true.
That's our show for today. You can catch us at the Future Jam on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we have a new show, Fact Off Podcast, with Alex's brother, Pat. And check it out. It's on Apple Podcasts, and it's pretty much everywhere else. So just search Fact Off Podcast, or just Fact Off, and you'll find it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's going to be a little bit more fun than the Future Jam, which I know it'll be like, how is it more fun than the Future Jam? It is. It's not just covering technology. We're doing everything.
And we have a teaser episode out. We released that last week. It's not an actual Fact Off episode. It's an episode we weren't planning on releasing, but I'm like, hey, let's give people a taste of what's to come.
Yeah, and this coming week we're going to talk about religion and mythology, random facts from there. So we're talking about different stuff over there.
Yeah, we're planning to release on Monday or Tuesday. This show sometimes out on Thursday, sometimes out on Friday. You know, we keep you on your toes. That's all we have for you this week, and we'll catch you on next week's Future Jam.
Bye.